I just turned this $20 retro Casio into a smartwatch. Not that one. This is the Ollee Watch, a mod that turns your dumb old Casio into a smartwatch. With a step counter, programmable alarms and timers, a phone app, RGB LED, and even games? But first, adjust your expectations. This is a smartwatch in the same way that your Toyota Corolla can be a Porsche if you take out the engine and the entirety of the innards and replace it with a Porsche engine and innards. Which is to say, it's not a smartwatch as you might expect, but that doesn't mean it's not still super nerdy and super fun. So basically, in order to do the mod, you replace the watch part of the watch with a whole new watch. You could think of it less as modding and more like buying a cool retro case for this new techie digital watch. Because the Ollee Watch kit itself costs $55 and the watch is only $20. After all, this is a tiny indie project run by one guy, not some mass-produced economies of scale powerhouse. It also comes with a tiny screwdriver which has 2 settings, so you can get right inside your old watch. You also need to provide your own tweezers, plus if you're an old like me, you might need reading glasses or something to see the tiny parts. Maybe one of those massive magnifying glasses that 90-year-old watchmakers use in movies. It also comes with a sticker, because who doesn't love a sticker, even a fully grown man?
Hey everyone, welcome to the Ollee Watch installation guide. This will take about 10 minutes to do with a standard set of tools. So let's unbox and get started.
There he is.
And at this point you should see the Ollee Watch power on.
Oh dear. For f***'s sake. I saw a screen. I saw a screen! Come on, you f***er. Oh, you little f***. Came on and then it didn't. Oh, come on, mate. What is it? Yes, yes. Just stay on, please. Just stay on. The screen's gone weird. Come on! Finally! If I turn this over and the screen's not on now, it's going out the window. He's in! Ooh! There he is! Whoa. And so, just 45 minutes later, I got it up and running, and here it is. I've managed to resist getting an Apple Watch for years, despite being deeper in the Apple ecosystem than Artax in the swamp of sadness.
Come on! Artax! Fight against the sadness, Artax!
Jeez. Comment below if that traumatized you as a child also. Anyway, if I do wear a watch, it's usually this guy. The classic Casio, small, light, battery lasts forever, shiny. What else do you need? Well, as it turns out, a different watch, as the Ollee didn't actually fit into this one, the A168. Does not line up with the tiny plastic pegs. That's a shame, isn't it? I needed the classic F-91W, which I think is also available in shiny, but I didn't really want to spend any more money. This one, just $20. Thankfully for my wallet, and very kindly after I requested it, the creator of Ollee Watch, Gregor, sent me this to test out after I'd modded my Kindle and my PS Vita. As soon as I discovered you could mod a retro Casio watch, I was like,
I want to go to there.
So once you're up and running, you basically have a Casio that looks like a Casio and walks like a Casio, but quacks like a... Yeah, that doesn't really work. But now you have an app and Bluetooth, so the time is always synced with your phone, and using the app, you can toggle which of all these extra features you want to see and the order you cycle through them when you press the menu button. Lest we forget, this thing only has 3 little buttons. Who needs a touch screen anyway? So in the app itself, front and center, you've got the step counter, probably one of the coolest features of this upgrade. And the good news is it also syncs with Google or Apple Health, if that's your jam. As to the accuracy of this step counter, there's 2 sensitivity settings, one for everyday use and one for walks and runs. Although I feel like there is a sort of Venn diagram overlap in my day for some of that stuff. In fact, there's only one way to test the accuracy of this step counter. A classic unscientific and pointless tests. All right, I'm in the park and the sun is shining, so it must be time for a completely unscientific and pointless tests. This lake behind me has a path going around it that's about 400 meters. So I'm going to do 2 laps of that, and then I'm going to check the step count on my phone, on my Fitbit Air, and also on the Ollee Watch, and see how they compare. See you in 2 laps and some maths. Should probably bring this with me, actually.
You know we outside and we making moves. I got that money making attitude. And if you ain't with me, then it's really
All right, let's tot up those scores after 2 laps of the park, approximately 800 meters, plus a bit of faffing about to film B-roll. Let's call it approximately 1 kilometer. Apple on my phone said I'd done 1392. Google on my wrist said I'd done 1395. Very close. And Ollie on my other wrist on L, low sensitivity mode, said I had done 1857. So way off, Ollie. However, I went round 2 more times, set the Ollie to H, high sensitivity mode for walks and runs, and this time it said I'd done 1293, while Apple said I'd done 1147, and Google said I'd done 1207. So the high sensitivity mode coming in much more exact. I'm not really sure how me walking on this paved track is different to me walking to a coffee shop or the supermarket, but I guess low sensitivity is like when you're just like bimbling around the house or whatever. I suppose it's good to know it's probably just worth keeping it in high sensitivity mode for most situations. Although if you are an obsessive ring closer, and I've been called worse, then maybe the not quite as accurateness of the Ollie might push you in the direction of a tracker, Apple Watch, or just your phone. That's enough absolute bulldozer science. Let's go back inside. Next up, you've got the alarm settings. Fairly standard, but you can get quite granular with it and choose which days you want it to go off and how to snooze it and for how long. Plus, the Ollie Watch beefs up the internal sound capabilities, so you can get 12 different ringtone alarm tones. Like, shout out to this one for the Brits. It's Big Ben. There's actually quite a lot of fun ones in here. Come on. Keeping it retro. And one for the Game Boy fans. I mean, if that's not how you want to wake up, I don't know how. How do we stop it? Now look, if you're generation young buckaroo and you've never worn a watch and only ever known the way to tell time through your phone, then a lot of these features aren't really going to seem useful to you. And you know what? That's fine. The audience for this thing is a very specific group of tinkerers and nerds who probably work in coding or on this YouTube channel. It's not supposed to be easier than your phone, but we all know what happens when you slide out the slab to check the time and you're like, oh, and suddenly 45 minutes has disappeared and you're scrolling through another TikTok video of a cute wickle puppy who got rescued from a drain and now he's been adopted by a family and you forgot why you took it out in the first place. Okay, back to the watch features. The third one is timer, which is again fairly standard, but also you can get pretty granular and set multiple timers, which until recently would have put it ahead of the iPhone itself. The fourth menu is faces, and this is where we get into the big business of toggling which features you want and rearranging the way they cycle as you blip, blip, blip through the menus. Of course, you've got all the classics like stopwatch, there's a flashlight. I feel like we should maybe just call that a light, but it has 3 modes, which include disco. There's even a temperature gauge in here, which takes the temperature every hour, apparently, and is a combination of your skin and external temperature. However, it should not be used as a direct measurement of your body temperature. So, sort of a rough temperature gauge. There's even a heart rate monitor. Again, kinda. It's basically just sort of a bit of maths where you have to hold down a button while holding your pulse and count the amount of heartbeats, and then when you let it go, it tells you your BPM using algebra. It's sort of the equivalent of when a nurse would take your pulse with their fingers while looking at one of those upside down watches in the olden days. In the even older than these days? I'm not that old. There's also a couple of games. One where you sort of hit a ball until you miss your PlayStation 5, and another couple of card games which seem a bit more well-intentioned, but again, very complicated, and I frankly didn't have the patience for them. I've done another pun without knowing it, sorry. I do want to shout out the app itself though, which is very neatly put together, and also every single feature has a little pop-up where it gives you detailed instructions of exactly what it does and how to use it. That's delightful, frankly. So it's a lot of cool features, but are any of them really useful? Maybe you're a nurse who doesn't have an upside down watch anymore, or you're a person who loves to know the vague temperature of their body and surroundings, or perhaps you've never played a game on any other platform. As a wizened old tech nerd, I should be the perfect audience for this thing, right? Yes, on the one hand, but also, I only really use my watch to check the time and the date, so none of those extra features are actually getting used. So also, no, not really. Like so many things in the awesome modding community, oftentimes it feels less about it actually being practically useful and more about just kind of showing what you can do with a piece of hardware.
Your scientists were so preoccupied with whether or not they could that they didn't stop to think if they should.
To some degree, this feels like a nerdy proof of concept, prototype, just because we can, tinkering kind of thing. I don't really imagine anyone using all of those features, but that doesn't mean it's not still a super fun mod and the perfect gift for the overgrown man-child nerdy tinkerer in your life. What's that? You don't have one of those? That seems like the perfect excuse to hit that subscribe button. Plus, there's so many more tweaks and twiddles you can do to this thing, like a raise to wake type feature to extend battery life, or silencing the alarm with gestures. Plus, the roadmap talks about what's planned in the future, notifications, music controls, reminders, real smartphone stuff. And eventually there's plans to open it up to third-party devs to make their own screens and faces and things and plugins and twiddles and whatnot. It's really exciting. It's such a cool, fun thing, and there's a growing community, which means it's only going to get cooler, more exciting, and nerdier with time.
Hey, it's Editor Simon here, and as I was putting this video together, a firmware update dropped for Ollee Watch, which added a whole new bunch of trinkets and twiddles like sun, moon and tide, weather, a data bank, background services, daily alarm, timer. Am I reading them off the screen? Maybe, but that's pretty cool, right?
When I first saw this thing casually mentioned last year on a Snazzy Labs gift guide, I was like, ooh, I would love to try that. And I suspect if you've got this far in the video, you're probably also one of those people. I think you either get it and find it cool, or you just don't. And both are fine. So do you get it? Do you want to get it? try it, buy it? Let me know in the comments below. And of course, if you already have one of these, let me know what you love about it, and of course, what you would love to see in future updates. Here's a link to another tech modding, nerdy, fun video that YouTube thinks you might enjoy, and here's a link to a video I recently made about another thing I wore on my wrist, the Whoop health and fitness tracker. Give that one a look if you please, because no one else really has. In the meantime, be nice. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.